Assalamu alaikum students. I hope that you all are fine. In this video lecture I am going to discuss about fifth chapter of first year chemistry, and here are about 80 MCQs of atomic structure. Let's come to first MCQs. Splitting of spectral lines when atoms are subjected to strong electric field is called Stark effect. Its answer is Stark effect. And when atoms are subjected to magnetic field, it will be Zeeman effect. Next MCQs, velocity of photon is independent of its wavelength. Velocity of photon is independent of its wavelength. Third MCQs, the nature of positive rays depend on nature of residual gas. It always depends on the gas. Next MCQs, the wave number of light emitted by certain source is 2 multiplied by 10 raised to power 6 meter. The wavelength of this light is 500 nanometer. A wave number has inverse relation with wavelength. You can solve this MCQs with following formula. Next MCQs, Rutherford model of atom failed because the atom did not have a nucleus and electron. It's wrong one. It did not account for the attraction between proton and neutron, and it did account for the stability of the atom. There is actually no space between the nucleus and the electrons. Its correct option is C. It do not explain the stability of atom. Bohr model of atom is contradicted by Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Quantum number value for 2p orbitals are, for 2p n is equal to 2 and L is equal to 1. So correct answer is A. In the ground state of an atom, the electron is present nearest to the nucleus. Next MCQs, when 6d orbital is complete, the entering electron goes into. We can calculate this by n plus L rule. The value for 6d is 8, and next coming orbital will be 7p. 7p. In 6d, 6 is actually principal quantum number, and s, p, d and f is actually azimuthal quantum number. And azimuthal quantum number has different values. S has 0, p has 1, d has 2 and f has 3. Next MCQs, orbital having same energy are called, these are degenerate orbitals. The E over m value for the positive rays is maximum for hydrogen, because hydrogen is the lightest element, so it will have a maximum value of E over m. The neutron was discovered by Chadwick in 1932. The velocity of photon is equal to velocity of light, so its answer is D. Quantum number value for 3p orbitals are n is equal to 3 and p is equal to 1, and p is actually equal to L, So 3 n is equal to 3 and L is equal to 1. So the correct answer is B. Next MCQ, the radius of first orbit of hydrogen atom is 0.529 angstrom. C option is correct. C option is correct. 16 MCQs, all atoms are principally composed of few fundamental particles which are in number. We all know that these are three in number: electron, proton and neutron. Which scientist gave the name of electron to cathode rays? It's Stoney. The divisibility of atom was showed by J.J. Thomson. The nature of cathode rays remain the same irrespective of the material used for electrode. Actually, these are electron, so its nature will remain same. A mass of electron is 9.1 multiplied by 10 raised power minus 31 kilojoule. In case of 21st MCQ, the charge on an electron is it's minus 1.602 multiplied by 10 raised power minus 19 coulomb. The charge on the proton is it's plus 1.602 multiplied by 10 raised power minus 19 coulomb. Next MCQs, the charge on neutron is 0. Neutron is a neutral particle, so it will have no charge. The calculated E over m value of the electron is it's 1.7588 multiplied by 10 raised power minus 11 coulomb per kilogram. The mass of proton is 1.676 multiplied by 10 raised power minus 27 kilogram. The mass of neutron is 1.675 multiplied by 10 raised power minus 27 kilogram. The charge on electron was determined by Millikan, and he did Millikan eyedrop experiment. For this purpose, alpha particles are identical to a helium nuclei. Actually, it's a helium nuclei. Bombardment of beryllium with alpha particles generates neutrons. It forms neutrons. Next, the color of the globe produced in the discharge tube depends upon composition of gas. It depends upon the composition of gas. Next MCQ is, when the pressure of the gas in discharge tube is reduced, which of the following becomes more prominent? A discharge takes place. Discharge is prominent. Goldstein discovered that besides the cathode rays, another type of rays are produced in the discharge tube, which are called, these are positive rays and also known as canal rays. The E over m value for the positive rays in discharge tube depend upon nature of the gas used. The distance between the two adjacent crust and trough, it's called wavelength. The value of Planck's constant H is equal to 6.625 multiplied by 10 raised power minus 34 joule second. Next MCQs, in the Bohr model of atom, the electron in an energy level emits or absorbs energy only when it changes its energy level. When electron gains energy, it will jump to higher level, and when it loses its energy, it will jump to lower level. The energy associated with an electron revolving in first orbit is minus 1313.31 kilojoule per mole. The region of spectrum are actually 8 in numbers. The dispersion of components of white light when it is passed through prism, it's called spectrum. It is the definition of spectrum. Which of the following color has the shortest wavelength in the visible spectrum of light? We mostly use the term Vibgwire. Vibgwire. V is for violent. Violet has the shortest wavelength, and red has the highest wavelength, longest wavelength. Which of the following color has the longest wavelength in the visible spectrum of light? And I already told you that it's red. The spectrum containing wavelength of all wavelengths are called continuous spectrum, like rainbow. A spectrum showing only certain colors of light is called line spectrum. It's line spectrum. The wavelength range of visible spectrum is 400 to 750 nanometer. Next, the spectral line of Lyman series are produced when electron jumps to higher orbit. When electron jumps from first orbit to higher orbits, it will produce UV region spectra, and it falls in Lyman series. So A option is correct. The spectral lines of Balmer series are produced when electron jumps from higher orbit to. When electron jumps from higher orbit to second orbit, then it will be in visible region and it will fall in Balmer series. The spectral line of Bastian series are produced when electron jumps from higher orbit to third orbit. Higher orbit to third orbit. The spectral lines of Brackett series are produced when electron jumps from higher orbit to fourth orbit. And last one is a Pfund series. And when electron jumps from higher orbit to fifth orbit, then it will be fall in Pfund series. A dual character of matter particles in motion was postulated by de Broglie. De Broglie told about matter characteristics that it can act as a particle as well as a wave. Next MCQs. If an electron is moving with the velocity of 2.188 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 meter per second, then its wavelength will be 0.33 nanometer. And how we can calculate? A lambda is actually h over mv. H over mv. It's de Broglie equation. We can find the wavelength of any particle by this equation. If a stone of 1 gram is moving with a velocity of 10 meter per second, then its wavelength will be. Again, we will use the mentioned equation for the calculation of wavelength, and its answer is 6.65 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 30 meter. The space around the nucleus where the probability of finding electron is maximum is called its orbital. It's an orbital. So correct option is A. Which orbital has dumbbell shape? S is spherical and P has dumbbell shape, D is diffused and F is complicated. P has dumbbell shaped like this. Next MCQ is which of the following quantum number describes energy of an electron in an atom? Its answer is principal quantum number A. Principal quantum number tells us about the energy of an electron. Azimuthal quantum number tells us about the shape of an orbital, and magnetic quantum number tells us the distribution of different orbitals around 3 dimension, and spin quantum number tells us about the spin of an electron, either it's spinning clockwise or anti-clockwise. Which of the following quantum number describes shape of an electron in an atom? I already told you about this. It's azimuthal quantum number. Azimuthal quantum number. The degenerate orbitals in p subshell is 3: px, py, and pz. Px, py, and pz. These are three degenerate orbitals in the case of p subshell. Next MCQs. When p orbital is complete, the entering electron goes into. We can find this by using n plus L rule. According to this rule, the orbitals are filled by the increasing order of n plus L rule. In case of 4p, 4p has the value of 4 plus 1. It is equal to 5. Next coming orbital will be 5s, because in case of 5s it also has the value 5. So we will fill 5s after 4p. Next, x plus L. It's actually n plus L. Value for 3D will be n is equal to 3 and d is equal to L, and its value is 2. So putting these value in n plus 1, it will be equal to 5. So its correct answer is C. Maximum number of electrons in 3f orbital is, it's 14. We know that S has capability to contain 2 electron and P has capability to have 6 electron. D can have 10 electron and F may have 14 electron. 60 MCQs. Maximum number of electrons in M shell is, first shell is K, second is L, and third is M, fourth is N. K can have 2 electron, L has 8 electron, and M has 18 electron, and N has 32 electron. So M shell can have 18 electron. An orbital can have maximum electrons 2 electron. An orbital can have only 2 electron. N plus L value for 4f will, N is equal to 4 and F is equal to 3. Then putting these value in N plus L rule, it will be equal to 7. So its correct answer is 7. Next MCQs. When a spectrum of light is formed by the radiation given off by a substance, its atomic emission spectrum. Neutron was discovered by James Chadwick. A cathode rays can drive a small pedal wheel, which shows that they possesses momentum. Slow neutrons are generally more effective than fastness for the purpose of. These are very effective for nuclear reactions, and so correct option is B, fission reaction. The wavelength associated with the moving stone cannot be measured by any method. Next MCQs. Radius of orbit of an electron and velocity of electron are actually inversely proportional to each other, so its correct option is B. The value of magnetic quantum number gives us information about the number of subshells, about the number of subshells. Next MCQs. Which of the following terms are used for the number of positive charges on the nucleus of an atom? Its atomic number. Uncertainty principle was stated by Heisenberg. When a pressure in a discharge tube is reduced, which of the following phenomena becomes very prominent? Discharge take place becomes prominent phenomena. Atom bomb is based on the principle of nuclear fission reaction. Nuclear fission reaction. Spinning electron creates magnetic field around itself. The volume of space in which there is 95% chances of finding an electron is atomic orbital. Planck's equation is E is equal to HF or HV. So B option is correct. In an atom, the electrons are distributed in three-dimensional charge cloud around the nucleus. The number of an element is equal to mass number of an element. Actually, it's mass number and it is equal to number of proton and number of neutron in nucleus. So B option is correct. The energy of a bounded electron in H atom is negative. It's negative. Quantum number which has symbol n is called principal quantum number. Azimuthal quantum number has symbol small l, spin quantum number has small s, and magnetic quantum number has small m. I hope that these all MCQs are clear to all of you. If you have any question regarding these MCQs, you can ask in comment section and inshallah I will explain that. Thank you, and please subscribe my channel and share my videos to students. It will really helpful for others. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.